Hello everyone, Professor Berninger here. Hope you're doing well wherever you are. I've come not too far from my house to the parking lot of the Ocean State Job Lot. We also have a few other places here in my local strip mall, a place to get nails done. Bank of Greene County, good place to do business. But I thought it was a fitting place to talk about Ben Franklin's The Way to Wealth, since there's a bank, a nail spa, which seems pretty frivolous to me, frankly, and Ocean State Job Lot. Now, I like Ocean State Job Lot, don't get me wrong. I shop there. It's my go-to place if I need a pair of gloves. You know, they have all kinds of good stuff. But they also have, like most stores, a lot of stuff you don't need and you can really waste a lot of money on. But just for the record, if you need something, your first stop might want to be Ocean State Job Lot here in Valatia. So I really enjoyed reading your comments on The Way to Wealth. There was a nice mix of comments. Some of you were a little more balanced than others, and I'll address some of those as we work through. But just for the record, Ben Franklin, absolutely my favorite founding father. He was part of the Declaration of Independence. He signed the Declaration of Independence. Born in Boston, but much more closely affiliated with Philadelphia. They really embrace and love Ben Franklin in Philadelphia. He invented bifocal glasses, which I'm wearing right now, so they're reading glasses as well as distance glasses. A much improved wood stove. He helped develop the lightning rod. He really was a genius. And one of his publications, he started out as a printer, was Poor Richard's, the Farmer's Almanac, or Poor Richard's Almanac. And it was just a collection of writings and all sorts of stuff that people would buy and read, and you know, just sort of enjoyable stuff, nothing too terribly heavy. But one of his most famous essays, written in 1758. Now that's kind of the amazing thing about The Way to Wealth. 1758, he was thinking about this sort of anti-consumerist ideas that he gives us here. It's a great title, The Way to Wealth. And to sum it up, of course we have a lot more to say, but to sum it up, work hard and don't spend a lot of money. Only spend money on stuff you need and work hard. That's it, right? And let's face it, if we all did that, as Michelle said, if we followed his advice, we would all be better, right? Individually, you'll be better if you work hard and spend less, but collectively, we would all be better. We all suffer when other people spend beyond their means, because it creates little cracks in the financial system every time a person gets into financial trouble. And then of course we have big events like the 2008, the Great Recession. Our entire economy in America almost collapsed, which would have spread through the whole world because people spent too much money on houses that they could not afford and all the junk that goes into a house. So anyway, Michelle is right on the money. If we all followed Ben Franklin's advice in The Way to Wealth, we would all be much better. Just to sort of get at the story behind this, if you were like, what's he talking about? Or what's going on here? Ben Franklin is the actual human being who wrote this. He is sort of, you know, the name that he writes under is Richard Saunders, and of course Richard Saunders also has the made-up sort of character of, makes up another character here, Father Abraham. So Father Abraham is riding his horse along and he comes across an auction. Now this is not at your local auction house where some of you may go, but this is at somebody's house. So if you couldn't pay your bills, the bank took your house and your stuff, and the auctioneer came in, people showed up. Okay, who wants to buy this pail? Who wants to buy the cow? Who wants to buy the plow? Who's going to buy this wagon? So it's already the result of somebody's bad financial decisions, maybe a little bad luck, but somebody having financial problems. And so Father Abraham, this wise person, comes up at the scene of an auction, and people are complaining of the taxes they pay to the government. Now, of course, we all hear that. And he kind of turns that around and he says, well, yeah, taxes might be a little bit too much, but you know what really saps your wealth is your own decisions. So really what he's preaching here throughout is personal responsibility. Personal responsibility. The government's out to get me, they're going to take all my money. No, you screwed up your finances by spending too much and being lazy, is his point here. So Father Abraham turns this people's complaint about taxes into economic lessons relevant to the moment. Of course, at the end of the essay, they all ignore him and they bid like crazy on all this stuff that they probably don't need. So, in your essays, in your discussion posts, you're all a little split on whether Americans are lazy or not. I thought that was kind of interesting. Shea was particularly harsh, saying that Americans don't want to work, they don't have the motivation to work and make their own money. I think a couple others of you were on that bandwagon. And, you know, we do complain about work a lot, but statistically, we actually work, at least log many, many more hours than most people in other countries, compared to Japan even, who's known for their hard work. France, other industrialized countries, we work almost constantly in this country. You know, you're lucky if you get 2 weeks off a year at a full-time job. That's almost normal. Hey, if you get 4, hey, that's a great gig you've got there. Most countries you get 6, 8, 10 weeks off, sometimes 12. Heck, most of Europe shuts down in the end of July and August, and everybody goes on vacation unless you're working at a vacation spot. So actually in America, we take very little time off. A lot of Americans don't even take the vacation time off that they're granted because they're afraid to look bad to the boss. So I know there is a widespread perception that we're lazy in this country and we don't, you know, we're always looking to get out of doing stuff. And hey, there's plenty of truth to that. But statistically, we spend more time at our jobs than almost anybody else on earth. Now, I'm not saying that's good, right? Me, somebody with 22 weeks vacation a year. I'm not saying, right? Because whenever you're at your job, you're a prostitute. You are selling your time to somebody else. Let's hit that repeat button on that one. When you're at your job, you are selling yourself. You are selling your time. It's all you have on this globe, your time, and you're selling it. You can't be yourself at your job. You have to be whatever they want you to be. That's pretty bad, right? You have to whore yourself out like that. We all do it. But the more money you spend, the more of your time you have to sell to somebody else, the precious commodity of time. So, Franklin starts off his section 1 here is about time. And he talks about, and not so much he talks about what we do with our spare time. Don't squander it. Time is what life is made out of. Here's one. Sloth makes all things difficult, but industry all things easy. Sloth is just like, you know, lazy. Like sloths aren't particularly lazy, but they're slow moving. Industry makes all things easy, right? Almost nothing can resist hard work. He talks about, you know, increasing the value of your time. If you learn a trade, right? Isn't that what you guys are doing here in college? When you have a college degree, you're increasing the value of your time. You're increasing your personal worth to someone else. And that pays off for the rest of your life. Diligence is the mother of good luck. Well, that's kind of, you know, it's a joke, right? If you blame luck on not having any money when in fact you spent it all on stupid stuff, that's not luck, it's stupidity. Diligence is the mother of all good luck. Essentially saying diligence brings good things. Call it luck if you want. Now, I think the most interesting thing he talks about here with time, and he's talking about not necessarily, you know, time at your job, because remember, most Americans at this time didn't really have jobs in and of itself. Americans almost worked on a farm where you kind of work for yourself, right? So you aren't necessarily punching the proverbial clock somewhere. But I like this line right here. A life of leisure and a life of laziness are two things. So he's saying leisure and lazy are two different things. Leisure is when you're choosing what to do with your time. It's not school, it's not work, you have free time. Leisure is when you use that time productively. You read a book, you teach yourself something, you exercise, something to build who you are. Lazy is doing things that do nothing for your life. Watching mindless television, TikTok videos, most social media, right? That's lazy. Leisure is using your spare time productively. I love that distinction, right? I love that distinction that he makes between leisure and lazy. So the first part of this essay is about diligence, hard work, and then he gets into industry, but we will save industry for our next segment.